There is a moment in every person's life when they realize that no one is coming to save them. This moment can feel terrifying, like standing at the edge of a cliff with nowhere to go but forward. But this same moment holds within it the most powerful truth you will ever discover. If the suffering in your life comes from within you, then you alone have the power to change it. This is not a burden. This is your freedom. When we look at our lives honestly, we often find that much of our pain comes from the inside. We carry fears that stop us from moving forward. We hold on to anger that poisons our days. We believe stories about ourselves that simply are not true. We create patterns of thinking and behaving that trap us in cycles of suffering. These are not things that happen to us. These are things we do, often without even knowing it. And because we create them, we have the power to change them. Nichiren Daishonin understood this truth deeply. In one of his most powerful letters, he wrote, "If you think the law is outside yourself, you are embracing not the mystic law, but an inferior teaching." This statement cuts through all excuses and all blame. The law he speaks of is the fundamental truth of life itself, the power that creates and sustains all things. When we search for this power outside ourselves, in other people, in circumstances, in luck or fate, we give away our strength. But when we realize that this power exists within our own lives, everything changes. The Lotus Sutra teaches that all people possess the Buddha nature. This means that inside each of us, right now, exists the same enlightened state that Shakyamuni Buddha achieved under the Bodhi tree. We are not broken beings who need fixing. We are not sinners who need salvation from someone else. We are Buddhas who have temporarily forgotten what we are. Our suffering comes from this forgetfulness, from living in contradiction to our true nature. When we remember who we really are and begin to live from that truth, we transform our suffering into enlightenment. Think about your own life for a moment. Consider something that causes you pain. Perhaps you struggle with anxiety that keeps you awake at night. Perhaps you feel lonely even when surrounded by people. Perhaps you cannot forgive someone who hurt you years ago. Perhaps you feel stuck in a job you hate or a relationship that drains you. Now ask yourself this question. Where does this suffering truly live? Does it live in the anxiety itself or in your resistance to feeling anxious? Does it live in being alone or in your belief that being alone means something is wrong with you? Does it live in what that person did, or in your continued attachment to the story of what happened? Does it live in the job or relationship, or in your belief that you cannot leave, cannot change, cannot choose differently? This is not about blaming yourself for your pain. Self-blame is just another form of suffering, another way of staying stuck. This is about recognizing where your power truly is. Nichiren Daishonin wrote, "Suffer what there is to suffer. Enjoy what there is to enjoy. Regard both suffering and joy as facts of life, and continue chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo no matter what happens." This guidance points to something profound. Life will always contain difficulty. Circumstances will not always be pleasant. Other people will not always treat us well. But our suffering is not in these external facts. Our suffering is in how we respond to them, in what we make them mean, in whether we let them define us. Human revolution is the process of changing yourself at the deepest level. It is not about fixing surface problems or developing a better personality. It is about transforming your fundamental life state, the way you experience existence itself. When you undergo human revolution, you do not necessarily change your circumstances at first. You change how you relate to them. You change what is possible within them. You change who you are in the middle of them. And from this inner change, your outer life gradually transforms as well. The beautiful truth is that this transformation is always available to you. Right now, in this moment, you can choose to see yourself differently. You can choose to respond differently. You can choose to let go of what you have been holding. You cannot always change what happens to you, but you can always change what you do with what happens to you. This is the essence of taking responsibility for your life. Not responsibility as in fault or blame, but responsibility as in responsibility, the ability to respond with wisdom rather than react from habit. Shakyamuni Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths as the foundation of his enlightenment. The first truth is that suffering exists. The second is that suffering has a cause. The third is that suffering can end. And the fourth is that there is a path to the end of suffering. These truths apply to every moment of every life. When you suffer, you can trace that suffering back to its cause. You can see how your own mind, your own heart, your own choices have created or sustained the conditions for that suffering. And in seeing this, you glimpse the possibility of freedom. Nichiren Daishonin explained, "Even if it seems that, because I was born in the ruler's domain, I follow him in my actions, I will never follow him in my heart." This statement was made in the context of religious persecution, but it speaks to a universal truth. External circumstances may be beyond your immediate control. You may live under unjust systems. You may face obstacles you did not create. You may suffer losses that break your heart. But the territory of your inner life belongs to you alone. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your choices about where to place your attention and your faith, these are always yours. The Lotus Sutra describes the parable of the jewel in the robe. A poor man wanders in poverty, not knowing that a wealthy friend once sewed a precious jewel into his clothing. He suffers tremendously, believing himself to have nothing, when all along he carries priceless wealth with him. This jewel represents the Buddha nature within each person. We suffer because we do not realize what we already possess. We search everywhere for happiness, security, and meaning, not knowing that these qualities are woven into the fabric of our own lives. Human revolution is the process of discovering this jewel, of learning to access the infinite value that has always been within you. When you truly understand that the cause of your suffering is within you, something remarkable happens. You stop waiting. You stop hoping that someone else will come along and fix things. You stop resenting the past for not being different. You stop fearing the future because it might bring more of the same. You realize that this moment, right here and now, is where your power lives. This realization can feel lonely at first. There is a kind of grief in accepting that no one is coming to save you. But beneath that grief lies the most powerful relief you will ever feel. If no one needs to save you, then you are already free. Nichiren Daishonin wrote, "The heart of the Buddha's lifetime of teachings is the Lotus Sutra, and the heart of the practice of the Lotus Sutra is found in the Never Disparaging chapter." In this chapter, a bodhisattva named Never Disparaging bows to everyone he meets, telling them they will become Buddhas. Many people abuse him, throw stones at him, curse him, but he continues to bow and to proclaim their Buddha nature. This practice is not about being passive or accepting abuse. It is about seeing the truth that exists beneath all surface appearances. It is about treating yourself and others as what you truly are, even when current behavior suggests otherwise. Think about how you speak to yourself in your mind. Do you bow to your Buddha nature, or do you throw stones at it? Do you acknowledge your infinite potential, or do you rehearse your limitations? Do you forgive your mistakes, or do you use them as evidence that you are fundamentally flawed? The way you treat yourself internally creates the foundation for everything else in your life. If you wage war against yourself, you will find war everywhere. If you make peace with yourself, peace becomes possible in all directions. Human revolution is not a one-time event. It is an ongoing practice of choosing your Buddha nature over your lesser self again and again and again. Every time you feel angry and choose compassion instead, that is human revolution. Every time you feel afraid and act with courage anyway, that is human revolution. Every time you feel separate from life and choose to connect, that is human revolution. These moments may seem small, but they accumulate. They build momentum. They gradually transform the entire direction of your life. Nichiren Daishonin taught that chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo is the direct path to revealing your Buddhahood. This practice is not about asking some external force to fix your problems. It is about calling forth the wisdom, courage, and life force that already exist within you. When you chant, you align yourself with the rhythm of the universe itself. You remind yourself of what you really are beneath all your fears and doubts. You strengthen your determination to transform suffering into enlightenment. The practice works not because it magically changes your circumstances, but because it changes you. And when you change, your whole world transforms with you. The door to your Buddhahood stands always open. You do not need to earn the right to walk through it. You do not need to become pure or perfect or holy first. You do not need anyone's permission or approval. The only thing keeping you from your enlightened nature is your belief that you are separate from it. This belief is natural. It is part of being human. But it is also false. Your Buddha nature is not something you will attain in the future if you try hard enough. It is what you are right now in this present moment, regardless of your circumstances or your past. When suffering arises in your life, you face a choice. You can see it as evidence that something is wrong with you or your life. You can see it as punishment or proof of unworthiness. Or you can see it as an invitation to human revolution, as an opportunity to access a deeper level of wisdom and strength. The Lotus Sutra teaches that earthly desires are enlightenment. This means that your struggles, your pain, your difficulties are not obstacles on the path to Buddhahood. They are the path itself. Each challenge you face is a chance to reveal more of your true nature, to transform poison into medicine, to prove that nothing can diminish the fundamental purity of your life. Nichiren Daishonin faced exile, persecution, and a death sentence. He could have blamed his enemies, cursed his fate, or given up on his mission. Instead, he wrote, "I feel immeasurable delight even though I am now in exile." He understood that his suffering was revealing the depth of his faith and creating causes for his own enlightenment and that of others. He did not pretend the suffering was not real or painful, but he also did not let it define him or defeat him. He used it as fuel for his transformation. You have this same power within you. Whatever you are facing right now, whatever causes you pain, whatever keeps you up at night or weighs on your heart during the day, all of it can become the material for your enlightenment. This does not mean you should seek out suffering or remain in harmful situations. It means that suffering you already face does not need to be wasted. It can be transformed. It can teach you. It can strengthen you. It can push you through that door into a deeper understanding of your own Buddha nature. The most freeing feeling in the world is realizing that your liberation is in your own hands. Not because you can control everything that happens, but because you can transform anything that happens. Not because life will stop challenging you, but because challenges stop having the power to break you. Not because you will never feel pain, but because pain no longer needs to become suffering. This freedom is not given to you by anyone else. You claim it through the daily choice to see yourself as you truly are, to respond to life from your highest nature, to refuse to be smaller than the boundless potential that exists within you. Your human revolution begins the moment you decide it begins. Not tomorrow, not when conditions are better, not when you feel ready. Now, in this breath, in this moment, in this life exactly as it is. The door to your Buddhahood is not locked. It never was. Walk through it.